Hey, what's up, phone lovers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of June 3rd, 2015. I'm Joe Fidua.
I am Chris Chavez.
And I'm Ashley King.
We're into June, and I don't care if the official first day is, June 21st?
Yeah, June 21st.
When it hits June, it's summer in my book, so. Yeah.
Interesting. It's all rainy and cloudy over here in Cali.
It is a beautiful day here. I'm excited. So lots of stuff happened last week. Right after we recorded our show, Google I/O was the next day, and we all survived the 2.5-hour keynote, barely.
It wasn't that bad. I felt like it went by kind of quick, actually. Like I thought.
Well,
Yeah, I was kind of surprised it was over. I was like, oh, that's it?
Yeah, and then once it was over, you're like, "There's nothing else."
Uh-huh.
I think the good thing was that, the last half hour or hour was kind of like hardcore developer stuff that we didn't care that much about necessarily.
That literally saved my typing fingers. But I think all the cool stuff happened after the actual keynote. Was all the little sessions and all that stuff. That's when all the fun stuff got announced.
So the big thing is Android M, obviously.
Android M.
And that is developer
Marshmallow. It's Marshmallow. It's going to be Marshmallow.
Milkshake, man. It's gonna be milkshake. Before we get into it, that was one funny thing. One of the guys on stage had Android Wear Watch, and the watch face.
Straight trolling.
The watch face literally cycles through desserts that start with M. And one snapshot had a pic of it, and it was a milkshake, and so everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a milkshake." But then he actually tweeted a picture, and it was like, "Oh, actually, it has a bunch of different desserts in it." So yeah, he was definitely trolling everyone.
That would have been a really cool little hint, though, or just like Easter egg or something. Like if you zoom in on his watch, he was telling you like the whole time what the next version of Android was going to be called. That would have been. I mean, I feel like internally it's probably gonna at least be Marshmallow.
I don't know why you're so.
He's so adamant about Marshmallow, and he refuses to accept anything else.
I think it would be.
Was Marshmallow even one of the ones on his face?
Just imagine a little Stay Puft Marshmallow droid. Like that would be so easy to make.
When I picture a Marshmallow Man, I picture the Michelin Man. Sorry.
Oh God.
Pretty much the same thing.
It's completely different. Stay Puft all the way, man.
So let's get it into Android M, the actual stuff. They released a developer preview just like last year with L. So if you have a Nexus 5, 6, 9, or Nexus Player, you can install Android M and play with it.
Nexus.
I have it on my Nexus 6. I did that yesterday, and so I've been using it a little bit. I don't think either one of you guys has it.
No, I haven't used it at all.
Yeah, I like try to avoid flashing things on my phone because I always hit snags along the way. So I'm just like, yeah. It's pretty easy. It's really not that hard, but something always just happens. It's weird.
Every time I do it, it's a lot harder than I remember it being. It's like, I feel like I used to do this type of stuff way more, and now I don't do it very often. So whenever I do, it's like,
all rusty. Gotta dust off the old ADB.
But it's nice. They basically said it's just like polishing up Lollipop. It's not a full-blown release, but there is quite a bit of new stuff in it.
There is. I mean, but to me it feels like stuff that should have been included in Lollipop. Because Lollipop, for more than anything, was just like a UI change. Like the UI changed, and they moved certain things around and stuff. So I mean, there's of course other little features in Lollipop, but when you try to think back and you're like, what is cool about Lollipop? Like, and I tell my mom or my brother, like, oh, you got to get that Lollipop. He's like, what? Why? What does it do? I'm like, I don't know. It changes some things. Like, I don't know. It's got a new nav bar. Like, there's really not too much big stuff. But Android M is like all the fixins, all the good stuff that should have been included in Lollipop. But
so, what would you say is the most important new feature? Or the best new feature?
The bug fixes that he announced on stage. Thousands of bug fixes. Like, that was one of the features. He's like, it's got this, it's got that.
I feel like they say that every time, though.
Thousands of bug fixes. Like, I bet if you go back, they never ever talk about bug fixes, like on stage on during a keynote. Like that was hilarious because it's infamous. Like Lollipop is known for being just a buggy POS.
It's funny, you always complain about that, but I never have any issues with it on all my devices.
My roommate has the same complaints as Chris, but it's on a G2, so.
Yeah, it's like on other like devices and like some of the older legacy stuff and all this. I mean, like to me, like I don't complain. Like if my phone doesn't get it, like the Turbo doesn't have it right now, and I'm fine with that because they are addressing all these bugs and all these things. So it's just like I don't even bother. But when I see all the stuff that people are complaining about in the forums, like there's a big like memory hog thing, memory leak bug on the Nexus 5, but I never even had that bug. But even then, it still made me paranoid because all these other people were having it and they're complaining about it and all this stuff. And just, I mean, the bug is definitely there, even though my phone didn't have it. Thank God. I don't know how I bypassed that or whatever, but Lollipop has been a mess. It's been a dumb, ugly mess.
Well, my favorite feature, or most important feature, I'm going to say after the bug fixes, is I think the the permissions and just like the app settings page. If you open up an app in the, like when you go into the settings and you click apps and you click on the settings page there, like not the actual settings page within the app, you have all these cool new options. Permissions is the big one where you can go in there and actually like turn off, hey, I don't want Facebook to use my location. Just check that. And that is really awesome. You can do that for like location, camera, microphone, a couple other things. So that's pretty neat. And it just seems to work pretty much. I've been using it in the preview, and like on stage they showed an app, like say you have WhatsApp and you want to take a picture with WhatsApp and you click the camera icon, it will ask, hey, WhatsApp wants to use your camera, is that okay? That part doesn't seem to be working yet, because when I was using the Facebook Messenger app and I unchecked camera in the settings and then I went to the Facebook Messenger app and I tried to take a picture with it, it just said camera's not working, and it just wouldn't show anything.
Yeah, they have to update the app, I guess.
So I think apps have to like take advantage of that or something.
That would suck if.
But that's still cool. And then also on the app page, you can turn off. I know Chris is gonna be excited about this. The heads-up notifications, you can turn that off.
So dope. Yeah. So awesome.
I think they call it.
I would like to just turn them. Is there like a universal setting where you just turn it off on all of them?
Pretty sure you have to do it app by app.
Yeah, individual.
And then app links is another thing that's on that new page, which is pretty nifty, I think. In Android, you're constantly being asked, like, hey, what app do you want to use to open this link? And should it be the default app? And getting asked that all the friggin' time. App links would just let you say, hey, any link that is like, say, a Twitter link, open it into the Twitter app. Don't even ask me. Just open it straight away. And you can turn that on for a bunch of different apps. That one seems to work. Like I thought apps would have to like do something to take advantage of that, but I was checking it out and pretty much like all the apps, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those types of apps, it's already working. So I like that new settings page. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, pretty awesome. I mean, that stuff is cool. I don't know how much like all these like the moms and pops are going to be diving into some of those controls and stuff, but that's kind of the more, what is it, like experienced Android users. They're gonna love that. And
I feel like it should make it easier for setting up phones too. Like if you have older parents or something, you can just tell it only open in Chrome, and then they don't see those permissions. You don't have to worry about them messing something up. Yeah.
Oh, another cool thing that would actually help for that situation too is, I'm not sure where this is in the settings, but there's a place where you can see like every app that can use your location or every app that can use your camera.
Oh, yeah.
It just shows a list of them, and then you can just uncheck them from there. So it's like if you have someone that's really paranoid, like I don't want any apps using my location, just go to that page and just like uncheck all of them and be like, all right, no one's gonna track you now. You're fine.
My girlfriend, she like even on her laptop and stuff, she puts like tape over her webcam because she's like, I don't know who's out there spying on me. I'm like, okay.
So what else is there? Doze. Talk about Doze, Chris.
Doze is like, it's kind of like a feature that they have like on like some of the Sony Xperia devices and some of these other um, uh, manufacturer stuff, like their UIs and whatnot. But basically, it puts your apps into like a hibernation mode, so that when you're sleeping, say you forgot to plug in your device and you just leaving it overnight, it's gonna I don't know if it turns off background data or just puts them. It pretty much just freezes everything that's not like a priority application, like the dialer or something like that. Um, and it's supposed to extend the battery life by double. You'll get like double the standby time as you would in Android L. And I mean, according to Joe here, it's working pretty well in Nexus 6, right?
Yeah, it's been working pretty decent, but it's hard to like say if it's because of Doze or because I did a complete factory reset when I installed M. So is that making the battery life better again? Because battery life was kind of starting to get bad on my Nexus 6.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, I'm sure Doze might have had something to do with that. I wish there was a way to monitor to see.
Because there have been some people I've seen who are using the preview, and they said that Doze is working like horribly, like the opposite effect. So I don't know.
Android problems.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Yeah, that would be awesome. Like for me, I don't really use when I'm like at work and stuff. I at work when I'm in my apartment on my desk.
In your kitchen.
I just leave my phone like near my laptop all day, and I don't really want to plug it in or have to worry about like fastening to something, whatever. But the Doze feature would be really, really well, because that's kind of a biggie for me. Standby time is like a really, really big deal for me. Even when like I go to bed, if I don't remember to plug my phone in, which I don't all the time, it would be super nice. Like I think that's actually really, really huge and awesome, useful feature. Or if you're just out in the woods somewhere and you need your phone to last for a while.
For sure. Now on tap, this might be the coolest thing that they showed. So I guess the way to describe it is it's like contextual Google search from anywhere in your phone. And I don't know, it's so weird how it works. Like I guess Google is looking at everything that you're doing on your phone. No, that's the scary headline. So basically, okay, the example they use, say you get an email from one of your friends or like a text message from one of your friends and they say, hey, you want to go see Jurassic World? You hold down the home button and Google Now on Tap will scan like what's on your screen at that time. So say it's the Gmail app, and it will see Jurassic World, and it will give you some contextual information. So it'll like have a link to maybe the IMDb page, movie times, stuff like that. And it can work the same way, like if someone says you want to go get dinner at such and such restaurant, you can hit that button, and it'll give you information about the restaurant, tons of different stuff, and it seems to work really fast. That part is cool. The part that I think is actually a little bit cooler is the voice search stuff. So the example they use, say you're listening to an artist, say you're listening to AC/DC in Google Play Music, and you just say, okay, Google, when did this band start? And it will tell you. Like, you don't even have to say, when did AC/DC start? It knows what you're talking about because AC/DC is on the screen right now, so it knows what you're referring to, which is insane.
That's great. That's like next level stuff right there. That's like, what is it, like Jarvis or that's just so nutty. So nutty to think about. It's crazy. People are saying this is like the killer Android feature. This is how like Google is going to basically set themselves apart or just kind of beat like Windows Phone or iOS and stuff, because apparently these other platforms can't really do that. This is all built into Google's weird search knowledge graph and all that stuff that they got going on. And it's interesting. It is pretty awesome.
I feel like people said the same thing when Google Now was announced. People were like, this is crazy. This is awesome. I need to use Android now.
It was, but it was just, I don't know. I feel like Google Now doesn't really work all the time. Like I don't really get like these notifications that everyone else gets, but
I get notifications sometimes. Like I'm a curious person and I'm not really big into sports, but if I see something's going on, like I'll look up a game or something, I'll get Google Now notifications if that team's playing or like when the MH370 stuff was going on, like I was searching for flight information on that.
Oh yeah.
I was getting flight notifications. Like, damn, this is like what the hell? I'm not on any of this stuff. But
Yeah, you know what? You are right. There is. I'm trying to think. Like, I get like weird TV. If I look up like a TV show or something, it like somehow knows, and then it'll say like, "Oh, there's a new episode of Adventure Time tonight," and I'm like, "That's kind of awesome." If I had TV.
yeah, like if you search for popular media or sports or anything, I feel like you're a lot more apt to run into those stray
Yeah.
Google Now notifications.
Yeah,
you really have to go into the settings and kind of
tweak it around a bit.
fine-tune it. Yeah, because I used to get a lot of notifications like that too.
Mine's just pretty much weather. Majority of the time, just always the weather.
Yeah, I use it for weather and sports scores, and I like how like if I have an event in my calendar, it will tell me when I need to leave by to get there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's
The most recent thing that happened to me, I recently rewatched Angels in the Outfield. Do you guys remember that movie?
Oh my gosh! With what's his name? The
Christopher Lloyd.
You can't see me,
No,
but
the
I'm
kid,
doing
the
the
kid.
Angels.
Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, he's like the it guy right now.
He was the
I
good
watched
guy
that.
back then.
I watched that movie, and I was curious why the Anaheim Angels were now called the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Like I didn't know about the renaming and all that. And so I was getting notifications for their baseball games.
I know
my
that
gosh.
happens to me all the time too. Like I have a few teams that I want scores from, but then occasionally you search for another game and it's like, oh, you're a fan of this team now.
Yeah.
No,
I
actually, I'm not.
use it for like hot actresses. I have this thing where I'm like a Pokemon like master. So if I see like a hot actress on TV, I try to like archive them and like have this big. This is really weird. But anyway,
What exactly do you mean by archive them?
so I will Google search them and then it'll like just whenever like that this person has a new show or a new movie or something that's coming out, it'll be like bloop bloop bloop. Since you searched so and so actress, this is their new movie that they're going to be in, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. It's cool. Like it keeps you up to date on that stuff. It's actually really helpful for my
That's cool.
weirdness.
Yeah, so now on tap is pretty neat. And the video that Rob shot for Fandroid, the person had the Instagram app open, and you know how you can like tag an Instagram photo with a location. The person just said, "Show me more photos from this location," and it knew the location, and I thought that was crazy. So it can work in more than just Google Apps. But what I'm curious about is like the scary headline that I started with. How is Google now doing this? A lady said that when you press the button, that's when it looks. Like
that's when
no
it's
other time. It's not constantly looking.
Yeah.
But it's
So,
still
I mean,
looking at that time, and so I'm just like, well,
So
okay,
it's
what is
user
it scanning
it's
for?
user initiated though, you know. So like when you
Right.
push the button, it's basically like it
You're
scans
accepting
that
the
whole
terms of
page.
use.
Yeah, it's like you're the one doing it. Like if you don't want it to scan your apps, just don't push the dang button.
That's true.
But it's pretty neat. I'm not really too tinfoil hattish. I'm not really doing anything too crazy on my phones where I need to worry. But it's just. Yeah, I don't know. Privacy things just never really bothered me that much. It's kind of like I realize that I'm signing my life away for this incredible, weird convenience, and I really have no issue or problem with it. But
It doesn't bother me that much either. Like, it doesn't stop me from using any of these things.
yeah,
But every once in a while, I just kind of think, like, isn't it weird that Google has all this stuff and also, like, crazy robot dogs and drones and shit?
Self-driving cars. Like,
What are they doing?
like we have to. Yeah, you kind of have to trust them a lot, which I mean, I guess I do. But I mean, other companies and stuff like what is it? There's a SwiftKey. When you first install SwiftKey, it's like, do you want to scan your emails for like to help learn your dictionary? And I'm like, no, I don't want you scanning my freaking emails. Are you crazy? But I mean, Google does the same thing with that. You know, like Gmail and stuff. They have to archive and stuff. And when you want to search through all your emails, they got to scan all your emails in order to search them. So it just comes with it.
Who do you trust? That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
All right, so more on Android M. The volume controls. I think that's going to be a big one with a lot of people. You can actually get into silent mode now.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because most people don't have a Nexus device just because the Nexus 6 was so freaking huge and so freaking expensive. So there's not too many people that even know what stock Android is. So like on the S6 and I'm sure on the G4 as well, they tweak the volume controls themselves because they're like, we don't know what the hell Google was thinking.
Google?
They just really effed it up. Like it took me forever. I wrote a post on it just trying to explain it, and even I was getting confused and like trying to figure out. And then the settings for them are just so confusing in that. But yeah, so Android M completely tweaked them, made them a lot simpler, easy to understand. They have like a little pop-up dialogue thing where it's like explains them in just completely plain English. Like this is what it's gonna do. If you turn on like the do not disturb, you're not gonna even get alarms. Nothing will disturb you, and you're like, oh crap, don't want that. So it's a lot better now.
Dude, you know what? I don't think I can get into silent mode on the G4.
Well, okay, so this is the thing. Priority mode technically is silent mode.
Yeah.
Priority mode will only let alarms go through, and then you can also set it to also let other like high priority things go through. Like if you want to have like a specific caller be able to call you during that time for emergencies or whatever. So priority mode technically is the new silent mode. It's just really weird the way they word it. 'Cause you're like, no, I don't want that. You think you're gonna get like notifications from like messaging apps throughout the night or something, but it's not. Not unless you set it that way, which there are settings to kind of let that stuff go through, or event reminders and things like that. So it's annoying because your entire life that you've had a cell phone, there's always been a silent mode, and now it's just completely gone. You're like, what the freak? And the silent mode they do have is it's literally your phone won't even get alarms. So people are probably waking up late for work when they put the full silent mode on, and it's just so confusing and dumb. But it's different in Android M. They kind of like reward it differently, and it makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
I think the last thing we'll talk about in regards to Android M is Android Pay, which I guess is not exclusive to Android M, or is it? I think it is because of the fingerprint thing.
No, I think they said it'll work on devices KitKat and above.
Cool,
so
that's good.
Yeah, Google Wallet's already working on Universal Google Wallet, so they just basically rebranded Google Wallet, right? There's really no difference.
There's a few new features.
I mean, Google Wallet's still going to stick around, but it's going to handle the payments for everything that's outside of the Play Store.
Well, no, I think Android Pay is going to replace that too, because they showed off that Android Pay is going to work in like other like online stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it will eventually completely.
But I mean, not everyone has an Android device, and Google Wallet is cross-platform and stuff on iOS and everything else. So I don't know. I feel like Android Pay is a weird way of just Google Wallet. So I think Google Wallet's still going to be there, but for like I think when it relates to Android devices, like your phones and stuff, it's always going to be Android Pay now.
Well, the guy like showed off. He was on his phone and he went to I don't even remember. It was some website that sells stuff, and they had Android Pay worked in, and he clicked it. And this was like in a website, not in an app. And he clicked an Android Pay button. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work.
On a laptop, or was it?
No. He was on a phone still, but he was in the browser on the phone. It wasn't like an app.
Yeah, so I mean, like if it's like a mobile website or something, maybe they.
Yeah, maybe just like mobile websites.
Retailers will know.
But yeah, so that'll work with the new fingerprint API, which should be cool. We're gonna start seeing Android phones with fingerprint scanners real soon now.
Yeah, hopefully the next Nexuses.
Next. All right, last thing to talk about from I/O, I think, is Google Photos. How hype are you, Chris?
That was a big one. I was really, really excited, and then like after I used it a little bit, I was kind of like, this is still not. I don't know. There's too much
I like how
crap
Chris
in
is
there.
like super hype about things, and then after they come, he's like, "This is the worst thing I've ever used."
I mean, no matter what.
What do you want, Chris?
It's like, I can't wait till this phone comes out, and then it comes in the mail, and I'm like, this is awesome, and I just put it on the coffee table, and I just like lay there.
Just like put it in the freezer and just.
It's so great. It's so great. No, Google Photos is cool. It's just like for me, I have so much crap that's backed up in there. I feel like I need a little better like organization system than what's going on. Because once your photos are backed up, it just puts them like in a not like a calendar view, but they're all chronological. So it's just like all these different Android devices, and they're all mixed in. And for me, like I kind of would rather, I don't know, just have like a folder for screenshots, a folder for photos I've actually taken with my camera, and photos for all my download stuff. But it doesn't really do that. It's not Google Drive, but I think for most people, it's actually really, really cool and very useful because there's finally a photo backup utility for Android, and that's what really matters. I think that's the biggest news.
Unlimited, free,
up to
photo
16
backup.
16 megapixels, which is neat.
Megapixels.
That's pretty good considering. I mean, like I think the Galaxy S6, what is it, 16? Nothing really goes above that except it's like Sony. Sony's like going crazy with their 20.7 megapixel cameras. But I mean, for smartphones, even like a 20 megapixel, if you scale it down to 16, you're not going to really lose that much quality at all. And it compresses them, but they showed it off like it's so good at compression that you're not the human eye won't be able to even see the difference. So
I'm sticking with OneDrive, man.
You're still doing.
I am. I'm gonna hold out. I'm just sticking with OneDrive. I like Microsoft.
I want to actually. I'm on my S6. I'm using both. So like it's backing up to OneDrive. It's backing up to Google Photos, and like I feel like one of these days, if I ever need to, just Google becomes too smart and scary, I'm just gonna move over to like Microsoft stuff. But yeah, so
I kind of like having my stuff split between Microsoft and Google. It's like I feel a little better about it.
Yeah, it's like a weird peace of mind type deal.
Yeah, it is.
That's weird.
All right, so I think that'll wrap up our Google I/O stuff. Unless there's anything else crazy cool that you wanted to talk about. There was a lot of stuff.
The Google ATAP stuff. I mean, I think we should briefly touch on that.
I didn't catch most of that because that was on the next day when I was gone. So you're gonna have to talk about that.
I can't believe you got a day off. That's so ridiculous. I was so mad. Yeah. Okay. So there was the Google ATAP team, which is like Google's special projects unit. They're like the Navy SEALs of Google. They get in, they get out. I think they give themselves like a 2-year deadline on anything that they work on. So they got to bring it to market within 2 years, or it's just not going to happen. So they showed off a working Project Ara prototype, which we kind of predicted in our little Google I/O prediction post. But they wouldn't let you touch it or anything. But he did show on stage that he was able to like swap out the camera and take a picture, and then he posted it to Twitter, which was freaking awesome. That was really cool. Quality was kind of whatever, but baby steps.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how long it's going to be before that finally does come to market, or the test trials in Puerto Rico, whatever. But it's coming. It's coming soon, and progress is being made. It's looking like a real thing. And then there was Project Jacquard. Isn't that the name of? No, it's Picard.
Picard, yeah.
Project Jacquard is like a smart clothing thing. I think this is what they were referring to when they said they were going to literally blow people's socks off and stuff. So it's so weird. Like it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like how useful is that going to be? So basically, you use your clothing. It's got like capacitors and stuff running through it. They found a way to what is it? Stitch it or manufacture it into clothing. It's supposed to be really easy, really cheap, and it can basically turn your clothing into like a touch input device. So if you can't, like on a smartwatch, it's really small and you can't really punch around and stuff. You can just use your like sleeve to move stuff around and do things.
Did they mention how fast that gives you cancer?
Yeah, it's weird, but I don't know. Like the smart clothing thing, I just can't see it taking off. Maybe once they start getting like sensors in there and they can measure your
taking off the smart clothing,
measure your salt intake. That would be kind of neat. But the other thing they announced was Project Soli, which is basically it's almost like
it's like a gesture-based radar system.
Yeah, like it's really weird how they
like
do
you
it.
can wave your hands and it detects the motions that you're making with your hand and completes an action based on the motion that you just made.
So like
what do you wear for that to work?
It's a sensor.
It's a sensor that they put inside a wearable, like a watch.
Oh.
And you just wave it above the watch face.
Yeah, I think it's really big right now, but I mean, eventually they're hoping to like shrink it down and stuff. But
Weird.
Yeah, so it's basically kind of like Minority Report. You can do things and gestures and whatever. To me, I feel like that would be really awesome for something like Google Glass, where you can't really touch anything or move. It's like really hard to scroll around and things on the side of your dumb head. That would be freaking awesome. That's what I always pictured Google Glass to be, like something like that, where it's Minority Report. You can grab things and stretch out whatever.
Or like
videos.
Jarvis.
Yeah, that would be super cool. So that one is one of the more interesting ones. And then real quick, they announced Vault and Abacus. Abacus they've already been working on. It's not really that new, but Abacus basically this is all security things. So Vault is like a little SD card / mini computer that you can put in any device that takes SD cards, and it's just like basically like I said, it's like a vault. It's like a super secure, encrypted place for you to stash all your most private things. And then Abacus was really neat because Abacus is able to authenticate you based on just nothing, just your typing, the way you move, and other weird things. It's super crazy. So Google's going to know that you're you without you having to keep punching in passwords and do all this other stuff. And if it thinks that you're not you, if someone else were to grab your phone, it could lock itself up and ask for a password because it knows, like, hey, this isn't Joe's normal way of moving.
That is so bizarre.
It's nuts because, and it's weird because I thought that it wouldn't be that accurate, but apparently since they're using so much different data, they're using the motion sensor, they're using the way you touch your phone, the way you do all this stuff, that it's like so much more efficient at detecting who you are than if you just use like a stupid PIN code or something like that. So it's actually pretty amazing. I can't believe that's even happening. But yeah, so look forward to those in the near future.
Cool. All right, so we can move on to some of our other news this week. I was just talking about Microsoft a little bit ago. They acquired Wunderlist, which is a excellent app that I happen to use, and Microsoft owns them. Have you ever used that app, Chris?
No, I haven't. I wanted to download it now that they actually bought them.
Yeah, I've been using it for probably close to a year now, and I really like it. It syncs across platforms. You can have like multiple people. So, for example, one of the main things that I use it for is grocery lists with me and my wife. We have a shared grocery list app, or list, excuse me. And like when one of us wants to add something to it, you just add it to that list, and it's like we can both see it. And then you go to the grocery store and you just check things off. I also have like obviously a to-do list in there and stuff like that. It works really well, and now Microsoft owns them, which is the latest app that Microsoft has acquired. They also bought Sunrise, I think. They bought Sunrise, right?
Yeah, they bought Sunrise.
Yeah, and then they bought, I can't remember the name of it, but that email app that they turned into Outlook. So they've been buying a lot of pretty good apps lately.
They're doing it right. I mean, it's like
funny. Like all these apps that they're buying are apps that I use, so
yeah.
They like know. They know that I like.
They're picking the good ones.
They really are. There was a time when Google was doing this a lot too.
Mm-hmm. And they still
you might have
do.
to go back to using Windows Phone.
I know. Well, I don't know. I just feel like Windows Phone is dead, and they're just gonna have all these great apps now. So you could be able to use like an Android phone or an iOS phone and just use all Microsoft services, and they'd be happy still.
Well, yay! Wunderlist they have a Mac app.
So yeah, they have an app for everything. They have a Windows Phone app. They have a Windows desktop app. They have apps everywhere.
This is cool. I'll try it out.
All right, so Ashley, Nintendo keeps being in the mobile news since you've been on the podcast.
It's been a wild ride, like all this crazy news that's been happening. Monday, there was a rumor that was published by a Japanese kind of like Wall Street Journal equivalent called Nikkei. They said that the next Nintendo console, which is codenamed the Nintendo NX, is going to run on Android. And everyone was like, what? Nintendo console? Android?
Wait, is the NX a handheld or is it a
we
console?
don't know. There has literally been nothing ever said about it other than Iwata was like, yes, we're working on a new console. It's called the Nintendo NX, and that's all he said.
What a jerk.
What a
Oh my
jerk.
gosh. That's gonna drive me nuts.
After everyone had their head exploded by that rumor, the next day there was like a Nintendo spokesperson that spoke with our actual Wall Street Journal and was like, no, the rumor reported by Nikkei is wrong. Our next console is not Android based, which you made me think, oh, Nintendo's just
I don't believe them for a
they're
second.
nipping that in the bud. But here's the thing, Nikkei's been right about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I would trust Nikkei over a Nintendo PR person any day.
Exactly. It's almost like Nintendo's covering their tracks. Like they don't want people to know what they're doing, so they're like, no, that's not
Every
true.
company does it. I mean,
most of them will say we don't comment on speculation. They won't even confirm what you're saying.
Yeah, that's like the generic default statement.
Yeah.
But
and response, but this the Nintendo is about that. No. We're not doing that at all, and then they'll come out and do it later.
Apple is notorious for denying things and then doing them too. We'll never do that 2 years later.
Well, I mean that was Steve Jobs.
I think the biggest example of them backtracking on something that they denied was Nikkei reported a rumor that there was going to be a larger Nintendo 3DS, and Nintendo was like, no, that's not true. That's
what a dick.
It's unconfirmed, and then 2 months later they were like, hey, here's the Nintendo 3DS XL.
So really they're like, no, that's not true, and then 10 seconds later like, hey, that's not a bad idea.
Basically, maybe Nikkei's giving Nintendo's them ideas or something. What can we report on rumor for Nintendo this week?
Very
cool. I know, Android.
Yeah.
Report it and it comes true. I mean, what if this would come true? That would be kind of crazy, wouldn't it?
Well, it would.
Nobody knows because they're not. It's not going to be it's not going to have the Google Play Store or anything weird like that, or the beginning of them putting apps on it. It's just.
I mean, if they did go with an Android ecosystem, it would be forked just like Amazon does.
Right.
Yeah. So it'll be just an easy way for developers to kind of make their apps and stuff. And I mean, we've seen Nintendo. There's a lot of mobile apps that have been ported over to Nintendo's little eShop and stuff. So it's this would just be a super easy way for them to get a lot more content, digital content.
Android might be a good base for them though, because while their most recent consoles have been okay in terms of the games that they release, the interface that they have for both the Wii, the Wii U, the 3DS is crappy. They have crappy interfaces.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, it just the Wii U and stuff. It's slow, and anytime you try to do anything, it's just always loading. I feel I don't know. I think they could benefit somehow from.
I think they could
Android.
too, but supposedly it's not true. I guess we'll see.
The thing that would be crazy about it, I think, is even if it is a forked version of Android, that still opens up the possibility for hacking and modding infinitely more than you can on any Nintendo thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, aside from that, it's it kind of, if Nintendo ever does wise up and say, hey, maybe we should start launching some of our games in the Google Play Store, these old Mario games or something, that would just be super easy for them as well. So.
I also think it might be another step in them going region free, which is something that they got big flack about. The Wii U is currently the only current gen console that is still region locked. Both the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 are region free. So.
What do you mean by region locked?
If I was to buy a game in Europe on the Wii U and it wasn't released in the United States, I couldn't play it because my Wii U is a US Wii U.
Wow,
but
that's weird.
if I had bought the same game on PlayStation 4, I could play it.
That's
I remember
crazy.
that. I remember that was a big thing back in the day. I didn't even know that everyone got rid of that except for Nintendo.
Yeah, Microsoft and Sony both dumped it for their consoles. Nintendo still has it for both the Wii U and the 3DS.
I don't even understand the rationale behind it. I just don't get it. It's weird.
They say it helps them better protect consumers. That is their generic go-to response. Anytime it comes up, there have been huge campaigns on the
That
internet.
literally means nothing.
Yeah.
What in the world? This is for your protection. We're doing this for you.
But why? Don't ask.
Don't ask. Sounds like my dad.
Nintendo's
Yeah,
Chris's dad.
Nintendo is basically saying, because I said so. All right, so just to wrap up the news, I don't even know if anyone cares about this. Huawei announced the P8 Lite.
So sad.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer phone. We got hands-on with it. If you want to check it out, go to Fandroid. But it's kind of like Huawei makes pretty cool phones, and then they release something to the U.S. and it's like a mid-range phone. Yeah, it's like, come on, give us something good.
Yeah, I mean, even if they did give us something good, it's like, would you really pick it over like an S6 or a, I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Or
I probably wouldn't like straight up buy a Huawei device, but if it was a Huawei Nexus device, I would probably be more likely to buy it.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. All right, so that wraps up the news. Let's go to our wins and fails of the week. And second week in a row, my win is going to be LG G4 related. Battery life.
Such a fanboy.
I am a fanboy of the G4. I just realized the other day that battery life has been insanely good on the G4. Yeah, and so I started paying attention more closely to it. And yesterday, I got 16 hours of battery life, which is like a regular day
How
of
much
use.
like screen on time?
I don't remember what it was exactly, but
That's still crazy.
But compared to the other phones that I've been using, like
Nexus 6?
yeah, it was a lot better than the Nexus 6. Like, because I just, all of a sudden, a couple days in a row, I was realizing it's like, hey, it's 11 o'clock, and I haven't had to plug my phone in yet. Because when I was using the Nexus 6, it was like dying before I would go to bed a lot of days. And it was getting really frustrating.
That makes me really pleased to hear it because I really think I'm going to upgrade from the G3 to the G4. And the biggest thing for me on the G3 was battery life. So
Hey, it's going to be like a whole new world.
So
Right?
I'm hoping it continues because I may have even mentioned on this podcast when I first got the Nexus 6, I thought it had excellent battery life, but it kind of declined the longer I had it. So hopefully that doesn't happen with the G4. My fail of the week is going to be the Get Windows 10 icon that anyone who uses Windows 8 has probably noticed this week. I know, Ashley, you noticed it.
yeah,
So basically,
I'm staring at it right now. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, there you are.
if you have Windows 8, this week a little icon in the taskbar has started showing up, and it's just like a Windows icon. And when you click it, it says something about the Windows 10 upgrade and how it's free, and you can reserve the free upgrade. When it's available, it will like automatically download and then alert you that it's available to install, and then you can install it. So it'll make the process really easy. It's cool and everything in that regard. But the thing that's so dumb is I cannot get rid of this icon. I went into the task, you know where you can customize what icons show up there?
Yeah.
And you can select hide. So I've done that 2 days in a row. I've hit hide or whatever. I can't remember what it is. Oh, hide icon and notifications. So it'll be gone for like the rest of that day. Then I reboot my computer the next day. It's there again. You can't get rid of it. And Windows 10 isn't even going to come out for like another month. So it's going to be there the whole month probably. Stupid.
Yeah, once you put your email in, like that form goes away and it's just showing you the preview. Like, here's the thing, you can't have it yet.
Yeah. So
That's dumb.
dumb. Did you put your email in, Ashley, and
I did, simply to put it on my laptop. Like, I'm really hesitant about putting new OSs on my desktop because I primarily game on PC. And
Yeah.
Windows 8 was a little bit of a mess when it first launched, so I'll definitely put it on my laptop.
Yeah, I'll probably install it on day one just because I'm living life on the edge. No, I think it'll be fine for what I do. I don't do a lot of gaming, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, what do you got?
Oh, what are we doing? App picks?
Wins and fails, dude.
Oh, yeah. I
It's like they're talking about Windows. Tune it out.
was reading that
And
thing
that's
about
why you
Android.
Mac people don't like Windows. You just tune it out of your life, and you just
That's
don't even
exactly
realize
what
it
he
exists.
did.
That's not true. It's a little bit true, but
You know, oh, they're talking about Windows.
I was listening the whole time. I mean, yeah.
How bourgeois.
I want Windows 10. I wish I could put it on something. Can't put it on anything. Got nothing. So my wins and fails. My win's going to be the Nexus 6. There was a price drop. It dropped $150, which is actually pretty darn good. So
Still too big though. Too bad
Still
they can't
too dang
reduce the
big.
size of the phone.
and it's kind of weird because I've actually contacted someone about trading my Droid Turbo for the Nexus 6. I don't know why I want it so bad, but it just
And
somewhere.
remember, guys,
got
he
this
saw
idea.
this comparison and said the G4 looked huge, but yet he wants the phone that's
Well,
actually bigger than it.
Here's my thing: is I'm not going to use it as like I'm going to use my S6 as like my phone when I pull it out, like when I'm out and about. But if I'm at home, just hanging out, sitting on the toilet, I'm going to use the Nexus 6. It's huge.
Mini tablet.
Mini tablet. So, and the battery life's supposed to be really good, and now I'm actually getting a little worried because here comes Joe saying it's not.
It'll be good for a while.
Oh man. So that's gonna be my win. I think it's like 500 for the 32 gigabyte, and then 550 for the 64 gigabyte. So it's actually not that expensive anymore, and it is more expensive than say like the Nexus 5 was when it launched, but there's a lot better hardware, and it's huge 2K AMOLED display. I mean, yeah, like now it's a little more. The price is more justified. My fail, I have so many fails for this week, and a lot of these really bother me a lot, so I'm just going to kind of go through them quickly. But the Imgur app, I don't know if you guys use Imgur. Everyone that uses Reddit probably has used Imgur at some point. But
Is it Imgur or Imager?
I say Imager.
That's what I've always said too.
Imgur, because there's no vowel in between that. But I mean, if you guys want to say it wrong, that's cool.
I say GIF too. So,
hey, go play some GIFs, man.
So it was updated for Android, and this is an update that came, I think it was like a month or two ago for the iOS version. But basically, they killed off the grid view. So normally, when you open the app and you're going to browse images, it's a huge grid of images, and you just little previews. You click them, they open up, and you're taken to like the little spot where you can upvote, do whatever, leave comments. They completely killed that off, and they just made it like a single card view. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and it's like completely killed the app for me. So now I have to rely on all these third-party applications, which I mean they work, but they're kind of buggy and weird, and they all have their own little quirks and weirdness. But at least they still have the grid view. I don't know what Imgur was thinking. It's insane. But
I didn't even realize people like just went to Imgur and browsed photos there.
Yeah, they have their own. I mean, they have their own community. Like the Imgur people are
they
like
act
separate
like
from
Reddit doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They're like weird. It's like
But it's like all your photos are coming from Reddit. Like that's
yeah.
Without Reddit, you would have nothing. But I mean, they do have like a user submitted thing, and it's very rare if those user submitted posts like go to the front page or whatever of Imgur. So, but it's just easy because it's like it's a nice just photo. You can just get to see all the photos and GIFs of just weird stuff on the internet without having to deal with Reddit's weird formats and stuff. So yeah, that bugs me. There's a really weird Galaxy S6 commercial. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh shoot, I forgot to watch that.
And it reminds me of a Target commercial, but to me it doesn't even bother me that much. And I just kind of was irking on people because everyone seemed to have hated it on YouTube. So I was like, yeah, how much do you guys hate this S6 commercial? It sucks, right? But I actually kind of liked it in a way. It was like maybe there's music and the colorful stuff, but it's just very unlike a normal Samsung commercial, like that Next is Now stuff that they used to do. This is just like I think this is probably just like an offshoot commercial.
Oh my god, this is like an identical to a Target commercial.
Yeah, isn't it? And then they got that hip like little techno music, little beat. Like I like the song. I actually tried downloading it, but everyone else seems to hate it so much. It's the funniest thing. And I didn't even think it would get that many comments, but there's so many people that left comments like, yeah, this is like the worst thing on the planet. What the heck is Samsung thinking? Samsung fail. My other fail is going to be The Verge. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they reviewed the old Google Photos. This was really embarrassing.
I missed this completely, apparently.
The sad part is even after they took it down, people were passing around the VidMe link to it.
Yeah, so like, basically our Android had a field day with this, and they're like, "Oh, iVerge sucks!" Like they were just going off on them because they reviewed the Google Photos. They pretty much got the scoop on it because they had this huge, long old featured post about it as soon as it launched or as soon as it was announced. And the video correspondent guy, I guess someone gave him the old Google Photos app. He had no idea, so the dude's doing a video and he's talking about like some of the new features and this and that, and it's like it's the old Google Photos app, and he's comparing it to iOS, the iOS gallery or whatever, and it was just you could tell he had never used Google Photos before. He didn't even play with this one very much because he just was kind of just pushing buttons and just talking about like literally what he was seeing on screen. And it kind of just reminds me of sometimes you see this stuff from like E3 and not E3 but CES and stuff when you just, all right, I'm gonna wing it. I'm just gonna open this and we're just gonna record it. That's kind of what he did. So it kind of blew up in their face. It's pretty hilarious.
I think I watched that video before it got taken down, and I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, because it's like visually, there's really not too many differences between the new Google Photos and the old one, but all the cool new stuff and whatever, it's just he was talking about it like it was new and it was all the old junk. But,
oh wait, this isn't the video that I watched. Okay.
I have the VidMe link somewhere.
Yeah, I just found the VidMe link too. That's pretty funny.
Classic. Yeah.
Classic iVerge. Oh man.
I don't know if anyone takes them seriously. It all went downhill when Topolsky left.
All right, Ashley, what do you got?
I have a win this week. Are you guys familiar with Tile?
As in the thing that's in my bathroom right now, or
it's a little like
travertine?
It's a little thing that you can clip on places.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, that old thing.
Yeah, it helps you find things that you have lost. Anyway, my roommate and I always get into huge fights because he will come in and throw his keys anywhere, but he demands and says that he only puts them in one place. So Tile recently had a sale, and I bought one and made him put it on his keys. And lo and behold, he lost his keys. And Tile helped me prove that, no, you don't always put your keys where you say you do.
Oh,
so, win Tile. Good job.
Nice.
That is awesome.
I've always thought about getting one of those things. There are like other ones besides Tile too. I think Motorola and like even Nokia I think have something similar.
Yeah, it works really well.
The Fetch, cool. HTC Fetch. It's so fetch.
That thing is so fetch. One of these weeks, Ashley, you're gonna have a win.
I'm gonna have two. I know.
And when it happens, it will be glorious. Okay, so app picks of the week. Mine is gonna be Hound, which is an app by SoundHound, and I guess they're sending out invites today to try it out for Android. And it's basically kind of like, I don't know, Google Now, Siri type thing where you ask questions with your voice and it answers them. Not too exciting at first, but I saw a video that Hound put out where they were showing it off, and holy crap, this thing is kind of crazy. This guy, and I think he's Japanese. He's speaking in English, but he's asking all these like Japanese type questions, like what time is it in Japan, weather in Japan, yada yada, and he's asking all these questions like super fast, quick fire questions, and the Hound app is responding so fast that I can't even comprehend how fast it's happening, because he's just like question answer question answer question answer question answer, and it's just like going so fast. You have to watch the video if you haven't seen it. It is mind-blowing. So I'm thinking this app might be kind of cool. At first I was like, why is SoundHound coming out with a app that answers questions? It seemed kind of weird, but now that I've seen it, I'm like, all right, kind of cool. Highly recommend going and watch the video.
Oh, is that the internal demo that they have?
Yeah, it's like not a well-produced video. It's just like a guy holding a camera, basically.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
But are you watching it now?
Yeah. She's talking super fast too. Like they sped up her voice. What the freak?
I'm glad Chris is watching this right now. It's
Oh
hilarious.
my gosh. Okay, so it got real. First he's like, "Oh, what time is it in Tokyo?" And she's, really quick like response. I'm like, "Oh, it's nothing." But then now he's going on these crazy like, what is it? The third day of the 26th and the fourth and the blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and then, oh
Yeah,
my.
he's asking these questions about like way in the future type stuff, and it's like getting it in an instant. It's pretty impressive.
What the freak? This is mind blowing.
Yeah, it is. So that's cool. I might have to try to get an invite and check it out.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I've literally asked those I asked some of those questions like, how long ago was January 5th, like 2012? And like I have to look at it in Google, and there's this website. I got to click the website. And I got to look
Yeah.
at it. Whoa, this is awesome.
All right. So Chris, do you have an app pick for us this week?
I mean, there's always stuff I'm downloading. I don't think I have anything off the top of my head.
Bummer, dude.
Yeah, I'll let maybe Ashley go first if she's got one.
I do have one. It is a game.
Oh.
It's called Sproggywood. It is a it's
Good
a
start. I like the
crazy
name.
name. I don't know if you guys are real familiar with the roguelike genre, but the people who made this game, Freehold Games, they're responsible for one of the most popular roguelikes of all time called Caves of Cud. And Sproggywood brings that style of gameplay to Android and iOS, but with better graphics. Like, tons better.
Oh.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I like the graphics.
But the reason I like it is because it has more than just like dungeon exploring and upgrading your equipment and all that. Like you get this little village that you can upgrade, and as you complete more dungeons, you can hire more people in there, and you can unlock different classes. It's a really deep game, and it doesn't have any in-app purchases or anything. So all the gold and stuff that you earn doing dungeons is stuff that you earn, not what you paid for.
Nice.
You played it? It's fun? It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. I enjoy it.
I'm trying to load it up on my thing, but
You'll install it and never play it.
Oh, this looks cute. He's like a little guy.
He's like a little guy.
A guy with a sword.
Don't let the cuteness deceive you, though, because some of those dungeons are wicked hard. Like they've set traps in there. It's crazy.
One thing you didn't. Did you mention that it's $10?
It is $10, but here's the thing.
Guacamole.
It is like a full release. There's no
in-app purchases.
No in-app purchases.
$10 is tough. It's tough. I can do 5. I'll do 5 without thinking, but
just beat it in 15 minutes and then get your money back, dude. It's so easy.
Upgrade your town. Oh, that's cool. I do have an app, but I don't know if it's in the Play Store. Let me check. Well,
where'd you get it from?
That's a good question. I know it's here in my thing. Oh yeah, it is here. Okay, so my app is going to be an app called Polygen. It lets you create all that really cool polygon art. It's kind of weird because it's really kind of tough to use, but when you do get it, it comes out freaking wonderful. So basically, these are my favorite kind of backgrounds. I don't know. There's like a guy that does artwork like this too, where it's like takes like a wolf head and it's all polygon looking, and it just all the colors and everything are so vibrant and wonderful. This thing is really cool. I don't think it's a native Android application, which is kind of weird. I think it's using some sort of like HTML5 thing or something. So it kind of behaves a little bit weird, a little bit clunky, but the resolution lets you like export in SVG. You can export in like just JPEG or whatever, and it's got all the resolutions for your phone. It's pretty darn nuts. So if you have a high resolution device, sometimes finding these like super high res 2K wallpapers is damn near impossible. But with this, it's possible. You can just have to create your own. So if you go in the Play Store, you can see some of the sample stuff they have. So like somebody standing over some leaves. Looks freaking nuts. I did one with I took a picture of my hot dog the other day because I got a really awesome hot dog with like Chicago dog. It was my first Chicago dog ever.
Oh, yum.
Those things were, it was so amazing. So I took a picture of it and then I turned it into a wallpaper and it looks flipping awesome. You
I
guys,
gotta try this.
Definitely should try to. I know everyone's all obsessed with wallpaper stuff, and it's great. But trying to tweak it, I think the hardest part is trying to tweak it because you can see all the little points I forget what they call that in like math or whatever, but you can, the axes, I guess, you can move those around and kind of try to tweak it a little bit. That part gets a little bit tough. So like for me, it's like if it doesn't come out right the first time, I'm out. But
I'm out.
it's awesome.
All right, we got a couple of questions here. All right, some personal questions.
Ooh.
Do you see those questions?
No. It's like my girlfriend cheated on me.
Do you have girlfriends? Do you live alone?
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if we need to answer those questions.
I feel like Joe wouldn't want to, yeah. Oh, I have this. Okay, never mind.
But no, I actually got an email question, and it was not from Daquan Johnson. So if anyone knows Daquan Johnson, please go to his house and check on him, make sure he's all right, because we've gotten questions from him like
it's
4
like
weeks in a row.
Yeah, I was expecting, like, here's our email from Daquan Johnson.
That Pizza Hut story where like that lady didn't call Pizza Hut for one day,
yeah.
and then they called the
yeah.
police to go check on her, and she was like dead in her house or something.
Daquan, send me an email. I want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
So the email I did get is from Eugene Calusi.
Khaleesi?
I swear to God, someone with a name I can pronounce, email us, please.
Waiting for John Smith to show up.
Yeah. He says, "Hey Joe, how are you liking your LG G4? I'm thinking about pulling the trigger on one this weekend. I love it. If you've listened to the last couple episodes, I am liking it a lot so far. Nothing but good things to say. So go get one."
What are the bad things? What do you not like about it? That's what I want to know.
What don't I like about it? Well, there's the Korean clock thing, but that's not going to be an issue in the U.S. At first, it seemed like it wasn't responding to some of my touches, but I haven't really noticed that very much lately. So maybe, I don't know if I just got used to it or what, but it hasn't really bugged me. There's nothing bad I can say about it.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, I have friends that they signed up for that LG thing where they like were sending them to bloggers or whatever.
Yeah, like the test drive.
Yeah, the test drive, and they also got Korean models. And the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to like sell it and then buy the regular version." And I was like, "I don't know, man. It might be kind of like a review unit. I don't know if you want to go selling that off."
There are definitely people selling it. I looked on Swappa the other day, and someone was selling one for $700.
Was it the Korean model?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, you know where they got it from. That's funny.
The other half of this question, Chris can answer. Also, what is so bad about the HTC One M8? It seems like it should be a good phone. I'm not sure if he meant the M9. He probably meant the M9.
Yeah, if he's talking about the M8, it is a good phone.
Yeah, the M8's great. The M9 is the one that's not so great.
M9 is terrible. Like I've tried. This is so sad. Okay, so funny story. I think it was like yesterday, or the day before. My friend hit me up online, and he's like, "Yo, man, I just bought that M9, dog. Like, yeah." And I was like, "Oh." Well,
he's excited. He's just like, "What did you do?"
I know. I was like, should I just totally like give it to him straight, or should I be like, "That's cool. It's a good phone." But I was just like, yeah, you might want to return it. Is there a return policy? Don't open it, like whatever. So, I mean, I had to really, just kind of trash the phone. There's so much bad about it. Like I had to explain to him, like the battery life's not that great. The phone is slower than the M8. The camera is like terrible. There's just so many bad things that you kind of look for in a phone. The display is worse than the M8, which really bothers me. There's just not a lot to love about it. It's got the good speakers, but to me, it's just like go just get the M8, save your money, get an M8 if you really.
One cannot live on speakers alone.
Yeah, or a Nexus 6 or something. So yeah, I told him he can't keep that phone, and now he's a little bummed out. But he's like, "Damn, I should have hit you up first." I was like, "Yeah, dog." Poor guy. So what was the question? He was like, "What? Why is everyone?"
Why is it bad? Basically, he said, "Why is it bad? It seems like it should be good."
It's good. It's not a terrible phone, but it's just when you compare it to the M8, the screen is worse. The viewing angles, the black levels are like terrible on it. The colors aren't as vibrant as the M8. The camera isn't really anything great at all. It's actually pretty bad. Battery life is kind of whatever, and then the phone is actually slower than the M8. How's that? It's a new phone. Like, how is that even possible? So they took a step back. It's like it's pretty much terrible. It's terrible. Don't get it, man.
All right. So I guess if you're thinking about one M9 and the G4, go with the G4.
Go with the G4. Go with an S6. Even though the S6 has like 12-hour battery life.
All right. I think that's going to wrap things up for this week. Chris, what phone are you using?
The Turbo and the S6, but only for probably another week until I get the Nexus 6. So.
All right. All right. So you can send us emails like Daquan and Eugene with our address podcast@mobileroar.com. You don't have to just send us questions either. If you want us to just talk about something, you can hit us up there. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast, which comes out on Thursdays, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and pretty much anywhere else. You can follow the show on Twitter @MobileRoarcast, and you can follow us on Twitter. Chris is @GamerCore, Ashley is @OverlordRoar, and I am @TallSchmo, and we will see you guys next week.
Later, guys.